another sad day for Man United fans. But I wasn't overtly optimistic because I know Brighton play a lot of expansive one-touch football kind of game, but I still felt we should have made it more difficult. I think we just handed them the initiative by that error. It could have gone to 2-2 with the way we started the second half, but I don't know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's an incomplete team. This is the same team that will beat Arsenal, draw with Liverpool at Anfield, and then lose to Brighton at home. It's not consistent. There's clearly an issue at the goalkeeping this department. I think that Onana lost that game for us. I don't think if we look at the game, okay, we had only one shot, and that was the penalty the whole game. That was the only chance we had the whole game. Um, I don't think that we presented enough of a threat, and the problem wasn't Xerxes, because Xerxes, when he got the ball, it was when he was taking the ball from the opposition and running at them or intercepting a pass. He wasn't being given passes into dangerous areas that he could score. So you can't blame him. And he was even the one that created the chance for a goal. And he was more enterprising than Hoyland, even the last game. I'm not saying that Xerxes was great, but I'm saying that he presented, I just like his style more, but I don't think he would have been any more effective than Hoyland or any striker, because the ball is not coming into the strikers to take advantage. That's problem number one. Problem number two, that defense, it just feels fragile. I know Yoro is young and he's touted, but he's making a lot of mistakes that we're pretending to ignore. I think maybe he should be eased out a little bit more. I think he should come in as a sub. I think it's still a bit early for him to be getting exposed like this as a defender. I think he has potential, but all this getting caught out is not good for him. He was responsible for some mistakes. Mazraoui lost that connection. I mean, it was a good pass by Brighton, but still, we're not able to keep clean sheets. So there's a lot to be done. The left side of our side is not good. Dalot is a right-sided player. He's not bad. I don't like to say it's because of Dalot's fault. Dalot is playing out of position. And when you play Garnacho there defensively, position-wise, defensively, is not as good as Dalot, which is why you need to have Dalot there. It's not as coordinated. The right side has got Mazraoui and it's got Ahmad. And you saw Ahmad tracking back very well. He had a good game again. So I think that what we did with Onana and De Gea is that's the biggest waste of 50 million that I've ever seen the club do. We got rid of a very good shot-stopping goalkeeper. We don't play the ball out the back, so there's no point in using Onana anyway. And we've got a goalkeeper who is not good at shot-stopping. He could play out the back, but we can't play out the back. So he's basically a De Gea, but not as good at shot-stopping, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that issue there is going to require tweaking. I think that also that midfield, I don't know. We're not creating enough chances, and we're not consistent. I mean, we created enough chances in our last games against Liverpool and Arsenal. We played well. We played our heart out. And then against the Brighton, we can't produce more than a shot on goal. I'm not even saying we should win or lose the game. I mean, I don't really expect much of anything we do this season. Just get our 40 points and maybe have a good run in one of the cup competitions and then start building next season. So I'm not really disappointed. And even a worst case scenario, if this club gets relegated, then it might just be what we need for us to get rid of the Glazers. And because then they would have to, and then we can actually.
I'm sure they'll sell the club. If Manchester United gets relegated, they'll be forced to sell.
Yeah, they might, even if they don't get relegated, the fact that they're not finishing in any positions for Europe, and if they don't win a tournament for Europe, that's a lot of less money coming in.
Yeah.
you know.
And the annoying
So so
and the annoying thing now is that Europe is still not Europe is still achievable at this stage of the season. If you can put a run together, Europe is not gone yet. But with the way we are playing, almost like a fine song, we win, we lose, we win, we lose. It's going to be a roller coaster all the way to the end of this. And like you rightly mentioned, if you look at the goals that Brighton scored, they were from the wide areas where the wing backs were supposed to be occupying. If you look at the first goal, it was a flighted ball into the space behind the wing back. And because Dallo and Mazraoui are not natural wing backs, Dallo tends to play higher up and is unable to recover. Mazraoui doesn't have the legs. Look at Mitoma's goal. He tried his best, but Mitoma still managed to stick his leg in. That shows you the area where he's deficient. So the first area I feel they should address if Amorim is going to get money to buy players in this system, if he sticks to this system, is the wing backs. Those guys are not natural wing backs. And he showed in Brighton's game. And even the ball that Onana blundered, it was from a square play, also from the space behind the wing back position. Because when you're playing a back three, they're always so compact. When you're defending a transitional move, you need your wing backs to be back to form a back five.
yeah,
And most
actually,
of the time,
I agree with you. I think Mazraoui should actually be one of the back three. He should play on the right in the
exactly, not as a wing back. He doesn't have the
yes.
legs.
Then Ahmad should now play as the winger because he doesn't play a wing back. Ahmad, you can see how Ahmad plays. He goes up and down and defends as well. So
Yes,
he looks like someone that can play that. Well, everyone calls it wing back role, but it's actually a winger.
yes.
He doesn't play with wing backs, but we just say wing backs because we find it ridiculous to say otherwise. But
And
Ahmad, I think, played in that position on the right, and Mazraoui played in the back three. But then he now came forward, and Ahmad now played in the front three. Sorry, I'm wrong there because it was Delete, Maguire, and Euro as the back three. It wasn't a good back three.
It wasn't. And
Uh,
then the fact that Martinez may not have the height of Euro, and once in a while he makes mistakes in 1v1 position, but his passing, his composure in passing from the back was sorely missed. Most of the balls that were coming from our defense, either from the keeper or the center backs, were going straight back to Brighton. And then they put us under pressure again. And like you rightly said, I would prefer Ahmad as a wing back because in 1v1 situations, he can defend the ball very well. And once he wins the ball, he has the energy to run down the field. And he's very direct. The moment he gets to the attacking third of the opposition, he just runs at, cuts off his left leg, and tries to shoot. So to me, it's more useful. You don't lose anything by sacrificing him for a wing back position because it's obvious that Mazraoui can play that position. I don't know what you
I
think.
think that Martinez is a naturally left-footed player.
Player, yeah.
And I actually think that, although we keep saying he's short, he's actually 5'10". He's short, but he's not that short.
He's not that
And
short.
funnily enough, he
No, I think
wins
it's
a lot of
relative to the height
aerial.
of centre backs. I think it's
Yeah, but
relative to
when he played in Dutch football in Ajax, he used to win and dominate in the air.
in the
And if you know Holland, averagely, most people in Holland are amongst the tallest people in the world.
oh sure,
So
sure.
he actually has a good record in the air, does this chap? But I do see where you're coming. But I think that for me, Mazraoui right, Martinez left, Delete center should eventually be the best setup three, with Euro coming in or Maguire to fill in if that's not your first back three. I think because Martinez is naturally left-footed
Yeah.
and is naturally right-footed, and so therefore Delete, and every time you don't play Delete, it's always ugly. So those are my favorite back three
Another
defenders. We need
player
a
I was a little disappointed with was Maino. You look at that midfield, for all the industry and hard work by Ugarte, I couldn't really pick what Maino was doing. Was he breaking the lines? Was he passing or just running? I think at the end of the day,
yeah.
he was taken off because of poor play. Ugarte was taken off before for fear of getting a second yellow.
Yeah,
But then again,
I
Ugarte looks to
don't know
get
what
tired too quickly.
main
It doesn't
yeah
seem
between
to.
Menu and Bruno. It seemed like there was like a gap between between the midfield and the front line, there seemed to be a lot of space, and there was nobody making interplay within that space. And
Exactly.
Xerxes is not being allowed to play to his strengths.
I was
He's
particularly
always the one that is having to run with the ball on the
I was
break, and
actually
he's
really
not
very
supposed to
impressed.
be
I was
played like
actually
that.
really very impressed. Sorry to cut in front of you. I was actually really very impressed with Zaxi.
Yes.
He was the only player that made defending difficult for Brighton, and they had to go really physical. You could see after 20 minutes, they were all over him, holding him because they knew that he had close ball control and he could turn them at the touch of the ball. So he was United's outlet in that attack. But the problem was the players that were supposed to be bringing in, he wasn't getting to see them and pass to them. I think he played very, very well. To me, he's more useful than Højlund. Attacking is not just about scoring goals. You have to be able to bring in runners when you hold up the ball. And he has very good close ball control. So to me, right now, I think
I
he's
agree.
more useful than Højlund. He didn't do much wrong, but he got battered, he got elbowed. After some time, he was limping. It was obvious that Brighton players didn't want to give him space. He was giving them a torry time. So eventually, I think because of all the battering, he had to be substituted. And we don't have much options on the bench anyway, apart from Højlund. So Højlund came in and just ran for a couple of minutes. I didn't notice anything. We need to get players. We don't have players really.
Well, I can't blame the striker. If you like, get Ronaldo, get Messi. They're going to look bad in this United team.
The team.
We can't strikers until we are able to say, not like the Darwin Nunes now or Nicholas Jackson. You can judge them because they're missing chances, because they're being fed chances. Yeah. So you can say, it's good, it's not good. Oh, Haaland is good. He's taking his chance. But they're not getting chances. They're doing graveyard shifts in United. So I can't, it's unfair to judge them, especially because especially Xerxes. I don't even know if he's moved into a house yet or whether he's still staying in a hotel. He's literally got here. He's barely settled down. He's not had an off season. He's just in the team. He's a kid. He's done well today. He is improving. There's bits and pieces that I'm seeing, but like now, I'm not so upset that we lost. I'm just looking at what we can do. The way we played Southampton, I knew that this kind of team can't beat Brighton. The reason we can go to Anfield is because they get riled up. Our team needs to be riled up for a game to win. We can't beat these middle teams. But
of course,
that's why I think
when there's zero expectation, that's when they rile up.
Yes. But the kind of teams that we can beat in the Premier League, they are the same level of the teams that are in the Europa League. I think the most dangerous teams in that league would be any other English team apart from us. Even Spain, once you've gone past the first three teams, there's not really much to write home about. After the two Madrids and Barcelona, it's nonsense. That's why I don't really watch it. And Italian league is generally slower. You can see that
very, very slow.
played well.
Yeah.
So
but I think he has improved his fitness. I saw him do a lot of running today. I was impressed with him, even though he didn't score. He played really well. And talking about the goalkeeping position, if I were Amorim, I would drop Onana for some games. Because the only reason why Onana is playing is because of his distribution. Fine, the other guy may not be as good at distributing the ball, but he tends to protect his 18-yard box better. At corner kicks, he seems to be a presence. And shot stopping, I think is better than Onana. We can't continue to afford all these kind of schoolboy mistakes. The ball is being crossed. You can't have a firm grip on the ball.
He's had one poor game and one very good game.
Onana.
And I haven't seen him. Bayinda.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, and I haven't seen enough.
No, but in fairness, he has not had a run. He has not had a run.
Yeah, I agree with you that since we're not playing for if we're in a charge for something, if we're trying to fight for something, I'd have said no. But since we're just, we're playing we're just having a go. Once we're safe, especially if we're close enough to safe, we can take those kind of risks. But really, what we need to do is to look for a proper number one keeper.
Of course.
That's what we need to do. A good shot-stopping keeper like De Gea, which is quite, which is, we had, a Golden Gloves player that was was our player of the season multiple times. He won the league with
Yeah,
us. He won all sorts with, and
yeah,
I mean we got rid of him for nothing. 30
yeah,
at 30 for this.
yeah,
For someone that, Dracula FC can't deal with crosses.
yeah.
You
I,
know,
I,
that's
I'm so sure if Onana had kept against Arsenal in the FA Cup, would have considered from a corner kick. If you look at that guy's height, he's much more of an imposing figure than Onana. So he can't be bullied. They keep bullying Onana in corner kicks. I don't know what the problem is. They keep
I
bullying
think
him.
Onana is just generally not good at corners. It's not just about position. I mean, he got to the ball for that third goal. He just fumbled it. I mean, he didn't need to fumble it. He just fumbled it. He's just not good. His hands
Of
aren't good.
course, of
His
course.
positioning is good. His awareness isn't good. Um,
Back in the
Bayinda
days, the guy would have
shots,
saved that ball with his leg.
yeah. Bayinda made a couple of decent short stops, but I'm sorry, I can't just say I'm going to put him in and I think I'm going to give him a chance ahead of Onana because I think he's better until we're safe. If we get 40 points, as soon as we get 40 points, then we can be doing that with Bayinda.
But I'm sure we'll continue to get his opportunities in the FA Cup.
Yeah, he's still Onana, as bad as he is still, I believe, a better keeper than
All
Bayinda.
round, absolutely all round keeper. But
Even as a
we can ill afford this
yeah,
kind of errors. It's so painful. At
yeah.
2-1, we could have at least saved that game, at least a draw. I'm not saying we would
Even if
win.
even if Bayinda has a higher ceiling long term, right now, I don't think that it would be a good idea to put him in the post.
For sure.
But we need a keeper now. That's a
We
problem.
do.
That's a
We do.
problem that we didn't have that we
We
now
do.
have had. But as me, I didn't understand why we did it. I didn't understand why we did it, and now we are seeing the problem.
Yeah.
Then we need somebody on the left. We need something good on the left. We need a
Yeah.
left foot Ahmad. We need a left-sided
Yeah,
Ahmad.
we need a left-sided Ahmad, yes. And I feel they
Yes.
should find a way, if they can find a way of using not strictly a 4-4-2, but find a way of playing Zexi behind Hoyland. Maybe dropping Mino and putting Fernandez beside Ugarte. I don't know. I just feel finding a system that can accommodate Hoyland and Zexi can make the attack a little bit more fluid.
Just I think they should just limp along with a normal formation. Maybe play a few young players in the natural positions. Play Malasia or Luke Shaw in that left side position whenever they're fit.
Mm.
I think that he should just try to get his players used to playing their normal positions, whether they are losing or dropping points or not. So that when he now comes into the off season, he knows right. This is the position I need. I need to get rid of Malasia. I need to get rid of Luke Shaw. I need to replace those two players with quality players on the left. I need to place my goalie. I need to put some more creativity in that midfield. I think Mainu doesn't really know how to play that role, or he's not really used to that role. I will have patience with
No.
Mainu. He has a lot of work to do in the off season as to how to play that position. I think that he'll come back with a much higher ceiling. Mount needs to go. I almost
Yeah.
forgot that he played for us.
Yeah.
Um,
And
you know,
for his age, I think he's played an awful lot of games. That's Meno.
yes, Menu, yes. But Mason Mount is actually the type of, or James Madison. These are actually the type of players that we wanted in that role. But United, I mean, we had a Paul
Injuries.
Scholes. The last time we had that was, yes, injuries. The last time we had something like that was a Paul Scholes, which was a long time ago.
Yes.
Before
In
that,
fact, when
you
Scholes was
know,
playing beside Carrick, it was the right balance. Carrick would sit there,
yes, he played
hold the way
beside Carrick,
forward,
he played beside King, and he was the player that would distribute and
the
he could,
ball.
he could put the ball 40 yards drop it on a sixpence.
Yes.
And he could do it consistently. And Bruno tries it a lot, but Bruno does lose the ball easily. Paul Scholes didn't lose the ball easily. I think he didn't lose the ball easily. So we need someone. We actually need a different approach in that attacking midfield, that 8 and 10 position. I don't really know how Amarin plays that 8 and 10 position. I understand that he plays wingers. I understand that he plays striker, and he likes to play two attacking wing forwards in front of them.
Yes.
So I'm trying. That's a front three. So that's why Bruno doesn't seem quite balanced, because there's no 10.
Yes.
There's actually his football doesn't play with a 10. It plays with
Yes.
a
He
strike.
doesn't play with the 10. In fact, the two wide
No,
players are so narrow. The width comes from the wing backs, basically.
yes. The only positions available to Bruno to play within this team would be with eight, would be the 8 and 6 pivot. And the
Yeah.
closest position Bruno can play is the 8,
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, and
Sure.
and
There really
playing as
there
an
really
8.
isn't a position for a 10 in this system, really.
Yes, there isn't a position for a 10 in this system. It's an 8 and a 6, and they do a lot of work winning the ball back and keeping the ball alive, distributing to the wingers, and the wingers support the striker. You know, so I think that those four, that four core is we need to look at it. I don't know whether it's personnel, or maybe they need to be better drilled, or they need other players that are more balanced. And that he's lucky that they're
I think
young.
it's a bit of
You know,
both. Of course, personnel, certainly, but they need to be better drilled as well.
and because they're so young, you can train them into this type of football very early. And then Coney as well is still coming. Coney is,
Yeah.
just 2 years younger than Coney and Obi. They're just 2 years. I'm not looking
Yeah.
at this season thing beyond. Just don't get relegated. But if you do get relegated, it doesn't matter. But just get a feel for the team that you want to be playing next season.
Of
That's
course.
what I'd say. So I'm not too
No,
bothered.
Collier will get a lot more opportunities because he appears to be the number one replacement for Ugarte now. Amorim doesn't seem to be looking in the Casemiro direction, so he will get a lot more opportunities to
I thought
to
Casemiro
play.
had already left, actually.
It's not confirmed yet anyway.
Okay, Casemiro doesn't have the legs to
He
play the
doesn't.
Amorim,
He doesn't.
because
He
the Amorim
doesn't.
system requires you to go up and down the field a lot.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I think Casemiro can't do that anymore.
Exactly. In fact, the
The
kind
way,
of profile of players you need players that are young and athletic to be able to
yeah,
thrive in that kind of system.
Casemiro is the kind of player that he'll sit in an 8 or 10 position,
Yes.
and he'll try to create things and
He'll just
flash
be
around them.
pinging the ball
And
from distance.
yeah, but I don't think he can play that CDM position at Premier
No,
League level
no,
anymore. It's too
no,
fast. The pace is too
no.
fast for
It's
his
too fast.
age.
It's
I
too
don't
fast.
know why you'd give a
Even
30-year-old
when Casemiro was younger, to cope with the Premier League pace, even when in his younger days when he was in Real Madrid, it would have been a challenge. How much more now that is much older? So that's just the problem.
what they paid for him. They paid for him as if he was 21. They paid almost, they paid in excess of 70, 80 million,
Million,
and they
yeah.
gave a 5-year contract at the
Yeah.
age of 30.
30.
You
That's
know, they,
ridiculous.
I'm not sure I got the numbers. I might be out by 1 or 2 years, but it's nonsense. How are you giving a 30-year-old a long-term
Of course,
contract?
of course.
You
Because
know,
once you hit 30, your game, no matter how good you are, your game starts to decline. So you can't put in those good old days, once you are 30 at Manchester United, you can't get more than a year. And then they keep rolling it over based on
yeah.
performances.
And then they did it for Ronaldo as well. They gave Ronaldo 2 years. He's too old. You should have given him 1 year. If he had left
Yes.
after that 1 year, all the drama that surrounded, one of our legends wouldn't have happened, because
Oh, sure.
this management is too poor. They wouldn't have exposed our players to all the nonsense that was going on during that time. Because let me tell you something, football players are assholes. It depends on the media, on the club, to protect their behaviors from the fans, so that we don't
Sure.
turn on them.
Sure.
Anytime you're hearing about any stupid thing that a football player did, I don't blame the player. I blame the club that they're not watching their PR properly. It's
Yeah.
not the player. The players could be assholes. Some of them could even be criminals. You don't know.
Yes, I agree.
So
This
so
guy,
so
Newcastle were whooped yesterday by Bournemouth, and the standout player was Justin Kluivert. The guy is living
yeah,
off is living
that's
up to
Patrick Kluivert's
his
son.
dad's legendary status. Yeah, he was brilliant
I thought that.
yesterday. Hat trick. The guy's
Yes,
been doing so well. 10 goals and 3 assists. What are your
and
thoughts? How do you see the
father
guy?
also played for Suriname or something like that. It's not just his father. Patrick Kluivert's father was also an international footballer
Oh,
for
I
Guang.
see. Oh, okay. So
From
it's a family thing.
Yes, there's 3 generations long, not just one or two. So I'm sure that the son will. So the son, the grandson, and
but his style is slightly different. Patrick Kluivert used to be a number 9, known for his height and his ability with the head. But he seems to be like a wide forward, pacey, very good at dribbling, very technical. Of course, we expect that from an academic graduate from Ajax, and he seems to be able to finish very well. I mean, look at Bournemouth; they're sixth.
Yes, it's a style of modern football that requires. I think that if he had played in his father's time, he would have played more like his father's role of football.
Oh, sure.
He's adapted because the modern football that we have now is more about systems. And with systems, you want quick forward, you want quick attacking forwards, whether they're crossing or passing or shooting, whatever you want
Yes.
them to
And
be
those
inverted.
days, your position was cast in stone. Now you
Yes.
must be able to
Now,
play
how
more than one
many,
role,
yes,
versatile
how
and
many
stuff.
strikers can we name in the Premier League? How many really big strikers? We can't name more than one or two.
No, yeah, maybe just one
The
and two, one or
Newcastle one
two.
and Haaland. But
Yeah,
in those days, every team had like bad boys, Bergkamp, Henry,
yeah,
Ian
sure,
Wright,
sure,
you
sure,
know,
sure,
so you
sure.
could keep going. So the era of strikers, and when you have two strikers and both of them are trying to rack up goals, it's but now it's much more about systems.
Yeah.
So,
And if you look
John,
at Jurgen Klopp and Guardiola, they made it look like uh, strikers, a typical number 9 was not necessary anymore with their approach. And then people started to copy that approach. Just have 3 forwards who are skillful and they'll keep interchanging until Manchester City had actually bought Haaland. They too were playing like
yes.
that. They weren't really playing with the 9.
And then Madrid did it too with the false 9 when they had to let Benzema go. And that first
Yeah,
season that they won that season that they won the Champions League, they didn't play in a false 9. They didn't have Mbappe that season. Remember,
yeah, yeah.
playing this other chap. So yeah, but yes, those
And
systems
it,
for ball is now what's taking over. That's why
yeah,
I think the son Justin doesn't play like his father did, but
no,
still
doesn't.
he knows where the goal is, and that's one
Yeah,
of
that killer
uh,
instinct that his father had. He has
yes,
it as
you
well.
need if you know where the goal is, you know the direction. Somebody gave you the guide map in the womb
Yeah.
where
Uh,
you stop at the traffic light and the roundabout to take before you put the
Yeah,
ball in your
yeah.
bag.
And he's
So
very
he
good
got
with both feet. I noticed that he has scored with his right, sometimes he scored with his left. He's actually very, very good with both legs. He's a promising one. I don't see him staying too long at Bournemouth. I'm sure the Sharks will come for him anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's some players that I would love to steal from Newcastle. I think
Yeah,
Jeff Gordon would play very well in the
yeah,
Manchester United, as would Clivert as well.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I feel I feel that I didn't really let me be honest. I haven't really watched Sporting Lisbon, so I don't really know how their pivots play. I know that from what I've been told that he doesn't play wing backs, he plays wingers. He plays wingers, and then he plays a CDM and 3 defenders. So your 3 defenders and your CDM is basically your back 4, and then your wingers defend, like what Ahmad did. Ahmad is playing exactly what I understand Amrim did. So we need someone that does like that on the left.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
number
it
one.
obviously can't be Shaw's injury. I think they should just write off his contract. Once he plays
Yes,
another 3 games, he gets injured again. I'm not convinced
a
with
big,
Malaysia. We need a guy on that left, a very good
yes,
player
a
on
big
that left,
quality
young player.
is yes, a big quality is availability, and if you don't have that availability quality, you're no good. I mean, even I'm better, and I'm 50, and I've got sciatica in my right hip. And Malasia is just not good enough.
Yeah,
Um, Malasia is he's a left. He plays he's a correct positional player. He's exactly that type of player. He's just not the quality. We got him for 15 million, and he's worth about 15 million. He's just not good enough. I saw him get skinned by Saka. And not even this season. Last season, I saw him get skinned alive by Saka. And this was when before he got injured and he was playing and he wasn't and he was fine. So I saw his limits there. We need better there. I still haven't seen this Harry Amas. Obviously, for some reason, we don't think he's ready to play in that role.
I don't think he's
Maybe
ready. There's another guy that was loaned out to Atletico Madrid, Juan Fernandez. He too plays that side. I saw him in preseason. I don't know if he's ready to, but was loaned out to Atletico. I don't
it
know.
may well, because these players are young, the coach doesn't want to hurt their morale, and he might be training them in the wings to explode next season. That's a possibility because, you know, the players that are already out there, they'll be energized by some happy youth players that come in and maybe one or two decent signings. But they need to do something about that goalkeeper. They just need to look at a keeper that doesn't concede goals and makes a lot and just put him there and give up on this exercise or go and beg to
and if you have to play in England, you must be able to defend crosses very well. It's the bread and butter of the Premier League game. Even De Gea, in his first 2 seasons, he was struggling with crosses because he wasn't used to it in Spain. So it's one, you need to get a keeper that has to come to grips with that fact. In England, they're going to cross the ball.
And being a Manchester United keeper is not just about your talent, it's about your mentality and understand what is expected of you in that kind of position. And I think sometimes it can even overwhelm some good keepers. I remember there was a keeper that we had, Taibi, that he had 2 howlers.
One Italian keeper like that, I remember him.
Good keeper actually, but he had 2 howlers and he never recovered from those howlers. That was the end of him. You know, so it takes a kind of mentality. And
you know, Sir Alex Ferguson in a way is like Obasanjo. You make you blunder, you can never get a second chance most of the time.
You know, goalkeeper, we had Tim Howard, we had Bosnich, we had Barthez,
we had Fabian Barthez. But for me, I think Edwin van der Sar was my favorite by a country mile.
We only had 2 great keepers, Peter Schmeichel and Van der Sar. All the others came and went. I watched Gary Bailey when I was a kid in the 80s. I liked him. Madman. It's so strange because when you see him on SuperSport, he's so calm, but on the pitch, he behaved like somebody that was on Colorado. I remember him.
He looks so composed on his SuperSport.
Yes, he's so calm on SuperSport. I'm like, look at this criminal, just smiling and looking so calm. And you know.
And when we bought Van der Sar was getting close to 30. We bought him from Fulham. Nobody expected that he would come to, and he instantly improved Man United. Instantly.
Keepers peak in their mid-30s. Keepers have
they have a longer career.
Yes, De Gea could play till 40, and he's still. I think he'll peak around 35. I don't understand.
Look at David Seaman when he was keeping for Arsenal. I think he kept into his early 40s. David Seaman.
I need to Google. I'm not sure Buffon is retired and he's almost my age, or he just retired like 5 minutes ago. I'm not joking, no. I'm not joking. If I check, no, I'll check it after and then I'll send you the message. But I think Buffon is still playing in China or some weird place like that.
Peter Rufai was like 55 when we went for France 98.
I'm not even 55 yet. I have to get up to pee like 3 times in the night.
Okay, we are running out of time. We have Rangers on Thursday in the Europa Cup. Anything other than a victory will be really embarrassing. Really, we'll have egg on our face. I hope we win that one, and it's at Old Trafford again. Rangers, yes, on Thursday.
Scottish team.
Yeah, Scottish team.
Yeah, even Southampton would be embarrassed to lose to Rangers.
Yeah,
and they're rock in the Premier League. Yes, yes, that would be embarrassing. And funnily enough, who was loaned? Was it not this boy that was loaned? Ahmad was loaned to Rangers at the time.
Yeah, sure.
He went to Rangers and was also loaned, I think, to Stoke City or Sunderland or some other club.
Nottingham won again today, but they almost lost it. They won 3-2 against Southampton. At the point, they were leading 3-0.
I'll be so happy if they actually won the league ahead of
Liverpool.
I would be so happy. I would cry. Tears of joy.
But there are some key components of their team. If they were missing, like Chris Wood, in fact, he scored twice again today. Him and some other players are very key. they don't have the squad depth to replace those guys. That's just where I'm
Yeah, I
scared.
don't even annoyed with guys about this Arsenal. I actually really don't want Arsenal to win any league because I can't stand their fans.
Okay, Kule, we have
And I'm
less than
happy,
a minute. I think we should just round up from here because if we
yeah,
get into
I'm
this
happy
Arsenal
fans
thing,
they are better. They are
we're
better
not going to be locked down. Thanks very much for your time.
dominating.
See you later.
All right, great.